All right, let's do this. I'm Alex with Alexis Roofing. This is the first part of a four-part series as to what do I do after a wind or a hailstorm. So this part one, this is on taking pictures. And why do you want to take pictures? Well, on a hailstorm, now guys, these pictures you guys are going to be taking or video, make sure you're safe. You're not going to get hurt because hail can actually hurt you. It can put you in the hospital if it's big enough. So you don't want to be out there trying to take a video or a picture and getting hurt. Do it from a safe place if you can. Now, it's not so much on the big hill, you know, the baseball size hill. We're talking about more towards the smaller hill, you know, 1.5 inch hail where there's a lot of hail, where some insurance companies try to tell you there's no damage. Well, get a lot of degranulation when that happens, when you get a lot of small hail. So you want to take pictures of the hail coming down, so you can see how it's bouncing up. If it's just slush and it's hitting your the concrete patio in the back and it's just breaking up, that tends not to damage your roof because it's just slush, it just breaks up. But if it's hitting and then it's bouncing 5-6 feet up in the air, that's hard hill. It will damage your roof. And some adjusters try to tell you that, you know, 1.5 inch smaller hill won't damage your roof, but that's not true. Think about it. If you hit somebody with a pan the size of a plate on their back, for instance, yes, it's going to hurt because it's a pan. However, if you do the same amount of force but with a smaller object, hit them on the same spot, same force, it's going to cause more pain. Same thing on the shingle. If you got very big hail coming down, it's going to damage it. The smaller hail will also damage it because now all of that kinetic energy is concentrated in even a smaller area that can damage the shingle, and also do a lot of degranulation. So here we go. So on the videos, it's to show that you want to be able to show your adjuster, the roofing salesman that comes out to take a look at your roof, you know, the amount of hail that came down. You know, if it hailed for 15 minutes, you want to show them that. So it will cause damage after some time, especially the big stuff. The big stuff, there is no question. You don't need a video on that one. Now, when it comes to wind, if at all possible, guys, and it's not a tornado and you can actually take video and pictures, video does it for you because you can see where the shingles were lifted up and laid back down. Those shingles are damaged. They need to be replaced. You don't just lay them down and try to glue them. Those are going to come up. A lot of adjusters and a lot of salesmen will come out to a roof and they'll go just to that one spot where the shingles were torn off. It's very obvious, and they don't check above it or below it to see if that wind event picked up shingles and laid them back down. And all the years that I've been doing this, there's always damage to the shingles above and below the area where the shingles were lifted up and torn off, flung down to the ground. You have to look above it and below it. You also need to see where the shingles are lifting up and then laying back down. Those will have creases, and that's very obvious once you get up on top of the roof. When the inspector comes out from your insurance, he can see those, that where they're still there, but they just lifted up and then laid back down. There'll be a crease, but he won't know about the other ones where a big old section of shingle lifted up and laid back down. And it's not their job. Well, I shouldn't say it is their job, but they won't do it. They won't walk around trying to lift the shingles a little bit to see if they're loose. They just won't do that. It's not in their best interest. Remember, these guys are adjusters. They're not contractors. Some of them, all they do is, they actually learned it from when they became an adjuster and how to actually adjust claims. They've never really seen the application of it. What is another reason you should be taking pictures or video? It's mostly just so that you can have a history of what's taking place on at your house. Because if the hail was so small that all you're doing is degranulizing the shingles, eventually those roofs will end up looking like it's old wear and tear, when in actuality it's actually caused by hail. And if you keep recording this and the insurance keeps telling you no damage, and then finally you end up with the leak, well, guess what? Now you got a history of maybe 2 or 3 years or 2 or 3 times that the hail has actually hit, and they kept telling you there was no damage, and now you have a leak. How did the leak happen? I mean, it doesn't just all of a sudden decide it's going to leak. Something has to cause it. The shingles have to fail somehow. The shingles don't just all of a sudden decide, oh, I'm going to fail. Something had to hit it to cause the damage, to cause the leak, I should say. So I'll give you a case in point. My sister, Edna, she never called me. She kept calling her insurance company, telling them, hey, I have damage on my roof. They kept telling her, no damage, none. She ended up with a really bad leak in the back room. And she's actually from a different town. That's why she never called me about it. I went to go visit her. Walked in her house and I was like, what in the world is that smell, that musty smell? And it almost seemed like there was some mold already happening. Walked into the back room and I was like, God, you got a leak. Why didn't you call me and tell me? I would have driven the 5.5 hours to come out here and take care of this. She told me that she'd been calling the insurance company and they've been telling her that they don't see any damage, none whatsoever. So I was there for a week. She got the insurance to come out and take a look at it for her. Adjuster showed up. I was there with the adjuster. She pulled out all the files where she had been making claims and she was being denied. And the adjuster finally decided, this adjuster said that they would pay for the roof, but they were not gonna pay for the interior damage. It's about $30,000 in interior damage, because he was trying to say that it was wear and tear. However, we were able to get all of the interior damage paid for, because the approximate cause of the damage ended up being from all the hailstorms that she was going through, but they kept telling her there was no damage. So no damage, they weren't paying for it, so she wasn't doing anything to the roof until it finally started leaking. Got the right adjuster out there, he could see the damage, paid for it, but he was going to deny the interior stuff. I asked him not to do that, to first either talk to his supervisors or literally get to the litigation team, present it to one of the attorneys, because once the attorney takes a look at something like that and he sees the history of the amount of claims that the claimant, which is my sister at that point, he sees that, he's going to tell him, no guys, we owe for it. So they paid for it, paid for the new roof to be installed, and they paid for all of the interior damage, because it was the approximate cause was them not taking care of the damage to begin with. That is why you always want to take pictures and video anytime a storm takes place, only if it's safe. If you have any questions about something like this, leave a couple comments. I'll respond to it. If there's something that you want me to go a little deeper into something like this, I'll do it. Go ahead and leave me a comment on that. So this is part 1 of part 2. So the next video that's coming up as in this series is going to be call your agent. And why do you want to call your agent? Well, click on that next video that's coming up, why you want to call your agent, and you'll find out. I'm Alex with the Lexus Roofing. Guys, have a good one.